Midwest, four friends gather together. They all share one common bond, a love for Dungeons and Dragons. Join Davlin, Mave, Scar, and Varis as they make their way through the Horde of the Dragon Queen, a 5th edition D&D campaign. Welcome to 4 Players, 1 Dungeon, a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Hey everybody, this is Bo and Shawn from 4 Players, 1 Dungeon. Today, Shawn and I had a little bit of free time, so we thought what we would do is we would get together and discuss chapters 1 through 3 of Horde of the Dragon Queen. When we originally started doing the podcast, we started in chapter 4. And that's actually when Jason, our cleric, Varis, joined in with us. So chapters 1 to 3, it was Mave, Scar, and Davlin, and then we had a cleric NPC that was go ahead, Shawn.
Brother Generic,
the cleric. He served us well, but I figured what we could do is, today Shawn and I are just going to do a recap. We're just going to talk about chapters 1 through 3. Now, I believe that Horde of the Dragon Queen is how many chapters, Shawn? 8?
8 chapters.
Okay. And chapter 1 was called Greenest in Flames. And Greenest is a small settlement on north of Waterdeep and I believe north of Neverwinter. Is that correct, Shawn?
Actually, Greenest is southeast of Baldur's Gate.
Oh, I was thinking of
You're the wrong direction.
I was thinking of Fandelver, which is the box set starter adventure. Yeah, south of all that stuff, off the Sword Coast. But yeah, chapter 1, Greenest in Flames. Shawn, go ahead and give us an overview.
Well, the characters started out, they were part of, amazingly enough, a caravan. And for the past several days, they were traveling on a road that winds lazily across the rolling grasslands of the green fields. Sundown was approaching when they topped a rise and saw the town of Greenest just a few short miles away. But instead of the pleasant, welcoming town that they expected, they saw columns of black smoke rising from the burning buildings. Running figures that were little more than dots at the distance, and a dark winged shape wheeling over the keep that rose above the center of the town. It was being attacked by dragons.
Yeah, so that was literally the box text that we received as we entered the Greenest area.
Minus a few verbs.
Yeah, right.
Tenses of verb, past, present tense, all that shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, they proceeded to leave their employers, the caravan, because the caravan wasn't going to go anywhere near a town getting attacked by a dragon. Who blames them? So, they got to town, and once they entered town without warning, 5 humans dashed out from between 2 buildings on their left. A limping man and 3 young children raced across the street into some more shadows, while a woman carrying a round shield and a broken spear turned around to face the attackers. She was going to try to hold them off as long as possible. The players decided to join in and quickly dispatched of...
Well, if I may, I believe the situation was assessed, and we saw that these were villagers.
Yes.
And there was obviously a woman who was not going to be able to protect her family and an injured person, trying to protect her family and an injured person.
Yes.
And that's whenever we knew there was a battle going on, and the 4 of us decided to take on the attackers to save the woman. Correct,
yes.
In the family.
Yes, they took on a small group of kobolds with a few cultists.
And when Shawn says kobolds, he means kobolds.
Kobolds.
Kobolds. Go ahead.
So, they fended off the attackers. They took the refugees at this point to the keep.
Which was no
no easy feat in and of itself.
Right.
They dodged attack.
We had to navigate through the town setting
Yes.
while this raid and attack was going on, and we had to, a large part of it was stealth and how we were getting there. But then there were a couple inevitable combat encounters that we had to get into.
Yes.
And we were able to fight our way through to that keep, the
Yes.
stronghold in the middle of town.
Yes.
Now, what was there was like a noble or someone. What was that guy's name?
His name was Governor.
Governor.
Governor Nighthill, the mayor, so to speak, the guy in charge of Greenest.
Sure.
And he basically asked them to, first of all, the other citizens had holed up in a church. And the attackers were trying to set fire to the building.
Right. The natural safe haven
Yes.
for the villagers.
The fallback point was...
Well, the natural safe haven in a village like Greenest is the stronghold where the baron or the duke or the
garrison
the
stays.
leader in the garrison stays and
Yes.
protects. The other safe place, if you're thinking about it in like realistic terms, would be like a fire station, and it's the damn church.
Yeah.
So a lot of people fled to the church, and if I'm correct, that leader person of the town begged us. His people were too damn busy fighting
Yes.
off the onslaught, and
He needed help.
Yeah.
He was willing to take it wherever.
it was desperate, but we needed to get over to that church and rescue people and get them back to the stronghold, correct?
Yes.
All right.
There was a tunnel at the bottom of the keep that went out to a river out behind town, which the players took care of a wandering patrol. They made their way to the church with some clever use of manipulation. They told the patrols around the church to head to the other side of town.
Yeah, that should be footnoted that was a lot of misdirection on Mave, the bard's part.
Yes.
She used a lot of her abilities to misdirect patrols and convince other enemies that they should go to be diverted somewhere else.
Diverted attention to other places so they could
Right.
move freely, a lot more freely
Right,
about town.
because trust me, guys, it got dicey. We came out of that tunnel and fought a patrol, and it was questionable. And then once we did that and we were able to reframe and regroup a little bit, Maeve shined, I believe.
Yes.
She really did.
So they rescued the people, took them back to the keep. The mayor then employed them to go after a cult leader, a higher ranking, for information.
Okay.
Which they took the tunnel back down through, because that was their in and out for the keep.
Right, I remember that part.
You guys managed to track down a higher ranking, captured him alive.
Now, I'm trying to remember how we did that. Like, it's long enough
Yeah,
now.
I mean, I remember you guys doing it, but I don't remember specific details.
I think what happened...
I'm going to say sleep.
I think what happened was we ran into some type of patrol that had like a couple of guard drakes and some kobolds and a couple humans that were in there. And we took down everybody but one of the humans, the one that was calling the shots.
Yeah.
And we had weakened him, and a sleep spell took him down. We bound him, and then we took him back to the keep.
Yes.
The stronghold. Yeah.
You got the players interrogated him, found out what was going on. In the pre-dawn hours, a half-dragon. Give me 1 second.
So, yeah, while he's actually looking this up real quick, we actually... There was a breach at one point.
No, I'm thinking that was... Well, I didn't add the breach into it. I don't think I did.
You did.
I did?
Yeah, absolutely you did. Because Scar spent turns using the mending spell
Oh, yeah.
to put it back. So the thing is that I know that we got the Cult of the Dragon prisoner. We got him back to the stronghold.
That's right.
And about that time, this is like at the height of the battle.
Yeah.
And mind you, there's a dragon flying around like strafing shit, right? It was a blue dragon, to be correct.
Yes.
So...
That's right. I remember the breach now.
Right.
Because you guys had to find him back out through the outer Bailey door.
Right. So things were looking real grim in Greenest because of the dragon fighting and everything. And there was a point where there was a breach. They breached through a door in the wall somehow. And we helped go stem that. And then with the use of arcane magic, we were able to seal the doorway back up or whatever it was.
That's right.
And then I believe the fighting started to taper because dawn was coming.
Yes.
Right? Or it started to dawn.
The pre-dawn hours. And then from the darkness, a creature strode into the dim light of the dying fires around the keep. Although it was shaped roughly like a human, it was at least 7 feet tall. Its skin was covered in blue scales, its fingers bore wicked claws, and its face had the muzzle and reptilian eyes of a dragon. The creature stopped about 80 yards from the main gate of the keep and scanned the walls. A line of kobold fanned out behind it, and with their spears they prodded 4 human prisoners into the dim light. The heroes could make out a woman, a teenage boy, and a teenage boy in a blood-soaked tunic, and 2 children. Then the half-dragon hailed the keep. Defenders of Greenest, this has been a successful night, and I am feeling generous. Do you see these 4 pitiful, useless prisoners? We have no need for them, so I will trade them back to you. Send out your best warrior to fight me, and you can have these 4 in exchange.
So, immediately at that point, Davlin, our dual-wielding rapier fighting warrior, accepted the challenge to fight this person. Now, does this person divulge his name?
At the time, he didn't, but it was Langdrodrosis Cyanrath, a half-dragon.
Okay, which we actually just call Cyanrath from this point forward. So, Davlin and Cyanrath dueled.
Yeah, they dueled. Unfortunately, Davlin was not up to his game that night, and he lost.
And I really do think it was bad dice rolling.
Yeah, it was.
I really do.
It was bad dice rolling on both parts, but
also Cyanrath is real beefy.
Yeah.
It's the beginning. We're like first, second level
characters, and you're fighting a boss that's
right,
heavily armored, and
right.
It's basically the players aren't supposed to win, but they can. But after the fight, Cyan did not true to girl Davlin, obviously.
Right, he left Davlin unconscious and
Yes.
he was dying. He was bleeding out.
Yes, he was impressed. It was a fair duel. He was impressed, so he let the prisoners go. The attacking army rode off in the sunset or sunrise. So to speak.
And then from there, the actual the raid subsided. Everybody, the enemy force fell back in mass and left us with burning villages of the burning village and picking up the pieces at that point.
You guys are at part of the triage mode.
Right, and we were helping out in Greenest to get things taken care of the best we could. Now, I think that pretty much wrapped up Chapter 1, didn't it?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so Chapter 2 started that morning later on. The characters did their triage,